Candus Bly told Cracking Cases that she is no longer in love with Dawn now. I believe I know why. Spirit told me some things that I gotta share with you. So let's do this. Hey. Welcome to my channel. As I stated, Candus Bly, the mother of Summer Wells, hopped up on panel during a live stream on Cracking Cases channel. Cam and Alli were discussing their theory about what happened during the phone call in Walgreens drive-thru on June 15th, 2021, the day that Summer Wells was reported missing. Don Wells called his wife Candace, but why? We're going to discuss that super quick in just a minute. But I want to tell you, that's what this video was going to be all about. But that changed real quick when I was listening and Spirit spoke to me. I was shown a bit about what is to come. Now, I know this sounds far-fetched and maybe even somewhat crazy. So much so that I've had to ponder how I wanted to share all of this information with you many times. As I'm making this video right now, I think I have a clear outlook on how I'm going to relay this message from Spirit so that you can see what Spirit showed me. But I'm sure I'm still going to fumble and babble. So I'm trying to write everything down that I want to say to stay on track and so I don't miss anything. So you ready? Get cozy. This one is going to be a long one. And before we dive in, will you please make sure that you hit the subscribe button, ring-a-ding my bell, hit the thumbs up. Now let's do this. Let's review this Walgreens phone call information first. Then we will get deep into the juicy details from Spirit. Cracking Cases channel, Cam and his wife Alli were reviewing this phone call that we've heard a few different stories about the content and why Dawn called. To their surprise, Candus Bly showed up in their chat. They invited her up on panel. So let's watch what happened and listen to what Candace says about that call 8 months after it happened.
There she
is.
Hey, Alli.
Hola, how are you? You doing all right? Oh man, did you see that?
Doing all right. I got to stop everything else.
Oh wow. So yeah, I'm glad that you came in here. Were you in there the whole time?
No, I wasn't. I was in Jamie's chat earlier and a whole bunch of other people's chat.
Oh, he's making your rounds.
I'm making my rounds, honey.
So we were I don't know, you don't have to answer anything that we're talking about unless you want to, and I know how that is. We were so I was talking about what's a good, you talk about what you just went over.
Well, we were talking about the phone call that Hunter talked about whenever Dawn supposedly called you guys when you were in the drive-thru at Walgreens. And Hunter said that some guy named Andy was up there and was trying to touch the kids or something, is how he had put it.
Yeah. Tell her what you thought.
That's such a lie.
Right. So that's what I was kind of under the impression that he heard what he wanted to hear when Dawn called, and then they just made up whatever he had, whatever he thought he heard.
Okay, let me say something, Cam. Donnie called me and said, "Are you guys almost home?" And I said, "Yes. I have to stop and get my mom's prescription, and then we'll be on our way." And that's all what was said.
Okay, she said, quote, Donnie called me and said, "Are you guys almost home?" And I said, yes. I have to stop and get my mom's prescription, and then we'll be on our way. And that's all what was said, end quote. Okay, so let's break this down. Quote, Donnie called me. That part matches what everyone has always said. No questions about it. Candace didn't call Dawn. Dawn did call Candace. Then the next part. Are you guys almost home? Do I believe that these were Dawn's words? Not really. I struggle with this though. Did Summer Wells make it home on the afternoon of Tuesday, June 15th? Tell me your thoughts in a comment. Do you believe that Summer was actually brought home on that Tuesday? Then she said, quote, I have to stop and get my mom's prescription and then we'll be on our way, end quote. Okay, this whole response bothers me so much. Quote, I have to stop, end quote, means she wasn't at Walgreens yet. But she says she was in the drive-thru when he called. How's that work? I have to stop means she's not being honest, in my opinion. Then she says, quote, then we'll be on our way, end quote. Now, I say this when I'm talking to a person that is waiting on me. Like if my husband is at home waiting for me to get home for some reason, and I'd say what I'm doing, and then I'd say, we'll be on our way. But if my husband calls me from work and asks if I'm almost home, which that's weird wording, I guess, but I would say what I'm doing, and then I'd say, then we'll be home or whatever, you know, but her wording makes it sound like Dawn was at home waiting for her to get there. What do you think about this? Is this really what Dawn said? I mean, this is what Dawn allegedly said to Candace when he called when she was sitting in the drive-thru at Walgreens, right? Okay, let's go back. Let's do this. Let's go back and let's listen to how Dawn described this same phone call during his interview with Chris McDonough from the interview room.
And what time do you get there? Do you remember?
I don't. I probably went and had some breakfast, somewhere or whatever, and come out here. And I don't remember for sure. No, I don't.
Okay. What time do you call Candace, if you remember? I'm just trying to figure out the timeline and the window.
I'm trying to think. I'd say, maybe 3 o'clock or something like that. Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure of that at all.
And where was she when you called her? Do you know?
So I think she said she was either at Walgreens or headed to the lake, or I can't remember. Okay. But that's why I thought, well, I might as well just stay and work because, that's just what I do. But, so I think she said she was either at Walgreens or headed to the lake, or I can't remember. Okay. But that's why I thought, well, I might as well just stay and work because, that's just what I do.
Okay, so Dawn says the call was around 3 p.m., but he's just not for sure of that. He could be for sure if he would look at his phone that he had gotten back not long after Summer mysteriously vanished. But Dawn also told Chris that they got their phones back, but they didn't look at them for a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks. Law enforcement took Dawn and Candace's phones from them on June 15th, and they kept them for I don't know how many days. Then they give him back after his daughter was reported missing, after she just mysteriously vanished. But he didn't look at his phone for a couple of weeks, and neither did Summer's mother. Why would they not look at their phones to see if anybody had called or texted them trying to get a hold of them about the whereabouts of Summer? That makes literally 0 sense. In my opinion, allegedly. That means that they did have new phones, like I said, months ago, but people were still arguing that they must not have seen my video. But that's okay. That's okay. So he said when they did finally look at their old phones 2 weeks later, they saw that law enforcement had deleted everything on them both. Candace's phone and Dawn's phone. On June 15th, everything was deleted after 3:30 p.m. Isn't that convenient? So Dawn could have looked at his phone to see what time he called Candace because it was around 3 p.m., which is before law enforcement had deleted everything, right? Right. Anyway, Dawn tells Chris when he spoke to Candace, maybe around 3 p.m., he can't even remember where Candace said she was. His memory is not too good less than 6 weeks after his daughter's disappearance. He said that he couldn't remember if she said that she was at Walgreens or maybe she said they were headed to the lake. Okay, so that means that he's thinking, my wheels are spinning here as I'm talking, okay? He's thinking, talk to her the first time she was at Walgreens or the second time. because, you know, he wants to get the script right. Okay, so if it was the first time that she was at Walgreens, then they were headed to the lake after they left Walgreens. But if it was the second time, then they might have just been at Walgreens. But the first time they were at Walgreens, or was it the second time? See, that we don't know. We have never been shown any factual information, and law enforcement has not spoken about this mystery call on June 15th. So we don't know for a fact what time this call happened. But then Don continues on and he makes it all about himself per usual. If we believe what Don just told Chris, then what Candace said to Cam and Alli doesn't make any sense. If Candace said she only needed to stop to get her mom's prescription and then they'd be home, then Don wouldn't have decided to stay at work longer due to what Candace told him, right? Chris uploaded this video not too long after he had gotten back from Tennessee. So that's why I say about probably 5 to 6 weeks after Summer's disappearance. Okay, so do we believe Dawn? Or do we believe Candace? Or do we believe Hunter? That's right. Hunter also has a version of this mystery call. Chris McDonough spoke to Hunter and his mom Alli when he was down in Tennessee. Hunter was in the truck on June 15th when Dawn called. Both Candace and Hunter have agreed that this is true. So let's listen to his version of the call now.
Okay.
Because you have
Who went inside the store?
Nobody went in. We went through the drive-thru.
Got it.
The drive-thru. And then while we were in the drive-thru, her husband calls her talking about this dude named on the property that's been there for like a week or so. She told me they keep stalking other kids.
Who's that?
Some dude named like I have no idea who it was.
Okay. And why did Don call?
I have no idea. He just called. I don't even know if he was working at the time.
Okay.
But if he was working, he obviously wouldn't know that there was some dude looking at the little kids.
So this dude named Don calls Candace.
And tells her about, I don't know if his name is.
And tell me about that conversation.
All I heard was.
And how did you hear it?
I heard because I asked her why he called.
Okay.
The only thing that she told me from the phone call is that there was some dude, whatever it was, just the name.
Okay.
That's all I remember. Is that he's been up on the property for a week or two, trying to, like, I guess she said touch the little kids. That's what I was called.
He's trying to have what?
Touch the little kids.
Touch the kids?
Like give him a hug or something.
What do you think? Do you think that's true?
I mean, it could be because she's had this. Name was Billy, right? Yes, Billy. Billy was up there doing that stuff until we got arrested.
And Billy is the brother?
No.
The son?
No. Billy was an old drunk.
He's what?
Drunk.
He was an old drunk that was a friend of theirs that used to get in arguments with his wife.
And go
his
up to
wife
their
would
house.
take him out, and he would go up there and sleep in one of the sheds on the property.
Got it. And who was Billy trying to touch?
Well, Billy has a hots for grandma.
The grandma.
Got it. But what about the kids?
Oh no, he wasn't around the little kids. His mom wouldn't allow that. With her mom.
So why would Don, in your opinion, call Candace while you're in the line at Walgreens to say there's some dude on the property wanting to touch the kids? Help me understand that.
I mean, at first I thought because he calls her like every 2 hours because he works.
Okay.
I thought he was just doing his daily checkup.
Okay.
But then she told me about that. I was like, how does he even know that if he's supposedly working?
And what did she say?
I didn't say that. I was just saying in my mind.
And in your mind, what did you come to? What did you deduct?
Deduct? I thought that was just suspicious.
Really?
Yeah, and then later, when she called me.
Woo-wee. Okay, let's try to sum all that up as best as possible. Okay, Hunter said that they were in the drive-thru when Dawn called. Hunter says something about a guy who's been on the property for about a week and he's been stalking the kids. Hunter said that he thought Dawn was at work, so how would he know anyone was on the property at the Wells house? Now, my thoughts on this is, if this part is true, which Candace told Cam and Alli the other night, that Hunter didn't know about Jackie Dobbs staying on his property by the Wells house before Summer magically vanished. So if this is true, and this is really what Dawn said to Candace when he called her, the three boys were allegedly at home, they could have used the Wi-Fi to contact Dawn if they were scared or worried. Hunter said that he knew what Dawn said because he asked Candace and she told him all of this information. Plus, she said that Dawn said that this guy was trying to touch or hug the kids. Hunter also said Dawn does his daily checkups with Candace when he works. He usually calls her like every 2 hours, and I wonder if that's true. But Hunter found this call suspicious after Candace filled him in on everything. Not one time did Hunter say that Dawn was curious about where they were or when they would be home. Now, could it be because he forgot to mention that part due to he's only 15 years old, or maybe because Hunter has ADHD according to his mom, Alli? Either way, he told us way more than what Dawn told us, and way more than what Candace told us. So, is it true that Dawn called to see where Candace, Summer, and Grandma Candy were? Did Dawn tell Candace about a guy on the Wells property? If he did say this about a guy being on the property, I would think as hard as Dawn and Candace have tried to push this abduction theory, even though TBI said in November that they have zero evidence of an abduction, I would think that Dawn and Candace would go along with Hunter's story. But then I remember they won't, because they want to make Hunter and Alli to look like liars due to all the information that they've shared about the way Dawn and Candace are and how they act and how they treat their kids. In my opinion, allegedly. Let me know what you think about all three stories. Do you believe Candace and her simple one-question call? Do you believe Dawn's story that he remembers anyway, Or do you believe Hunter's version of this call? Or maybe you're like me and you believe something completely different. Leave a comment and fill me in on your theory. I cannot wait to read what you're thinking about this.
You doing all right? Oh, man, did you see that?
Doing all right. I got to stop everything else.
Oh, wow. So, I'm glad that you came in here. Were you in there the whole time?
No, I wasn't. I was in Jamie's chat earlier and a whole bunch of other people's chat.
Oh, it's making your rounds.
I'm making my rounds, honey.
So we were, I don't know. You don't have to answer anything that we're talking about unless you want to. And I know how that is. We were, so I was talking about what's a good, you talk about what you just went over.
Well, we were talking about the phone call that Hunter talked about whenever Dawn supposedly called you guys when you were in the drive-thru at Walgreens. And Hunter said that some guy named Andy was up there and was trying to touch the kids or something, is how he had put it.
Yeah. Tell her what you thought.
That's such a lie.
Right. So that's what I was kind of under the impression that he heard what he wanted to hear when Dawn called, and then they just made up whatever he had, whatever he thought he heard.
It kind of seems to me that Cam is being a little bit biased here about Hunter's statements. Probably because he doesn't want to upset Candace, which I get it. I do. But that's not the way I am. Cam saying Hunter, quote, heard what he wanted to hear when Dawn called, and they just made up whatever he thought he heard, end quote. That doesn't even make sense in my opinion. How would Hunter, a 15-year-old, just make all that up? Okay, this is where Spirit comes into play. Spirit showed me that Hunter repeated the story that Candace told him to repeat. Or that Hunter was being honest when he said Candace told him that's what the call was about. Whether she told him to say this story after Summer vanished, or it happened how Hunter said, I believe Candace did tell Hunter this story. It seems that Candace is really enjoying her newfound freedom and being treated as a celebrity by so many creators as she's making her rounds. She looks really happy. Like, almost glowing, don't you think? Is she taking over where Dawn left off by jumping panel to panel? I mean, Dawn always said Candace never wanted to be on live streams. But as soon as he's gone, Candace is making many appearances on several channels. She's not crying or freaking out or yelling like Dawn's picture that he painted for us, in my opinion anyway. Maybe I'm just too used to hearing her yell in the background. What do you guys think? Let me know in your comment. Anyway, let's keep watching.
Okay, let me say something, Cam. Donnie called me and said, are you guys almost home? And I said, yes. I have to stop and get my mom's prescription, and then we'll be on our way. And that's all what was said.
I believe that. I believe that because they were trying way too hard, and this is what we were talking about. I know that she was just doing stuff out of being grudgeful, spiteful, and having a grudge.
So Cam believes what Hunter said was because of Alli having a grudge against Candace? A grudge for what? And why would she have her child lie about details like this? This important. This is about a missing 5-year-old little girl. Do you really think Alli would lie to the FBI, TBI, the sheriff's department? I mean, all of these law enforcement officers spoke with Alli. So do you believe that she would lie to these law enforcement officers because of a grudge that she had against Candace? I mean, that seems pretty extreme in my opinion, but you let me know what you think.
Because we know, she yelled that at you that day when you were carrying that banner, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Oh, we got your kid.
What did she say? They got your kid?
She said, ha ha, let me off and I got your kid.
That's awful.
Please have Candace repeat what Allison showed that she had her kid or they. Okay, when I was going and I was holding the banner for Summer, when she come up missing, Alli and her group said, ha ha, like this, and said, we got your bitch. That's what they did.
We got your bitch, is what they said?
Ha ha, like this, and said, we got your bitch. That's what they did.
We got your bitch, is what they said? Huh.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's uncalled for.
You know, it's pretty fucking sad. Pretty cold and pretty cold-hearted.
Yeah.
Haha, we got your kid. 2 seconds later, haha, I got your kid. And then about 3 minutes later, haha, we got your bitch. And Cam repeats the last two to Candace, and she keeps on going like she didn't even realize that she messed up. Now, of course, Alli totally denies any of this ever happening. So do you believe Alli or do you believe Candace? And if you say Candace, I mean, which of the three do you buy? I don't believe Candace at all. She has been very hateful towards Alli since she first spoke after Summer vanished, in my opinion. Why would Alli take a chance on everyone hearing her say this at a parade? Robin was right there. She would have heard her. It just doesn't seem logical at all, in my opinion. Now, I was shown by Spirit that Candace is mad at Alli for telling law enforcement too much. It seems Candace got super mad when Alli called law enforcement after Candace and Grandma Candy stopped by Alli's to ask Hunter what he told law enforcement. I'm being told Candace got really pissed off about that. Also, from what I've gotten from Spirit, it seems Alli has been pretty honest. She exaggerates things and leaves things out by accident, but she does mean well.
Yeah,
every day I go through the pain of what if this, what if that,
yeah.
What if I did this right, what if I did that right, what if I walked out there with her, what if I did this, what if I did that?
What if I walked out there with her? Candace says, what if I walked out there with her? Was this a slip up? What if Candace walked out where exactly? Let me explain why I believe that Candace said this. Okay, let's ignore her wording for right now. When I heard Candace say this for the very first time, the wording definitely caught my attention, but Spirit was louder. From what Spirit showed me, I believe I understand. So let me tell you what Spirit flashed before my eyes. I saw short clips, like 3-second long short clips, alternating between Casey Anthony on her jail phone calls with her parents, trying to act like she cared about finding her missing daughter, Kaylee was eventually found. Just in case you've never heard about Casey Anthony or Kaylee Anthony, Casey was arrested and charged for her daughter's murder, Kaylee, but she was found not guilty or acquitted or something. She was let go at her trial somehow, unfortunately. The second clip Spirit showed me was Susan Smith when she was on the news showing fake emotion about her missing children. Crying but no tears. Susan was also arrested for murder, but she was found guilty and is currently rotting in prison, exactly where she belongs in my opinion. The third and last clip that Spirit showed me was Letitia Stout doing a news interview also, and also showing fake emotion. Letitia's stepson, Gannon Stout, was reported missing by Letitia, the last person to see him, just like Casey and just like Susan and just like Candace. And just as Casey and Susan, Letitia was arrested for murder. She was arrested before law enforcement recovered Gannon Stout's remains. He was found deceased and stuffed inside of a suitcase, states away from Colorado, where he lived. Letitia's in jail, awaiting her murder trial to begin. Focusing on these three horrible women, in my opinion, who I 1000% believe they killed their children, and which part I was shown, I know that Spirit is telling me that Candace is one of them. She might not have murdered Summer herself. I'm not prepared to say that yet. But I am ready to say she's doing the same thing that Casey, Susan, and Letitia did. I believe that she is imitating emotions that she thinks she should be feeling for all who are watching. Like she's mirroring emotions. I believe that Candace is listening to all of the criticism and using it as constructive criticism to alter how she looks to us, the public. As for her choice of words, what if I walked out there with her? I feel like I need more time to do a reading to find out if those words were just a slip up due to Candace being tipsy or drunk, or if those words are a clue as to what really happened to Summer on June 15th. I just need more clarity before I can elaborate more on that.
And that's how I feel every day.
Right. Well, and we know that.
Yeah.
We've talked to you, and this is the thing that people.
That is my baby girl.
Yeah.
Right.
That is my daughter, man. I'm like on the verge, like I don't even know how I can explain it the right way, because that's my pride and joy. That's my little girl. She was my pride, my joy, my love of my life. And for someone to come do what they did to her, it kills me.
For someone to come do what they did to her, it kills me. This quote almost makes me speechless. Almost. Candace and Dawn have stood strong on their theory of Summer was abducted from the minute Dawn says he got home on June 15th. So when Candace says, for someone to come do what they did to her, it kills me, is a perfect example of how Candace is trying to show emotions that she thinks she should be feeling, in my opinion. That's why I explained it before we watched this part. And I know that they have a lag. There's a lag between Candace hearing Cam and Alli from when we hear Cam and Alli. But Candace intentionally cut Cam off. And you'll see what I mean soon as we continue to watch. But one thing that keeps flashing in my head, give Candace and Dawn more credit. Let me tell you what I believe this means. Dawn and Candace have played the dumb hick role, I guess. They've been playing this, people think we're poor and dumb, so we're gonna portray that. Dawn and Candace are not dumb by any means. We need to give them the credit they deserve, okay? They both have planned dirty ass pranks. That took intelligence. They both have been active drug addicts. Now, bear with me on this one, okay? I've mentioned in the past that I have a couple people in my life who are addicts. They are in active recovery right now, thank God. But I've seen firsthand the intelligence that it takes to be an active addict. Anyone in recovery that might be listening right now, you know. Or if you have family or loved ones that have been addicts, you know. Addicts have to use their street smarts to lie, cheat, and steal to get their fix. Dawn and Candace have both lied, cheated, and stolen to get their fix. We've seen their arrest records. Dawn admitted to just a few of the things that he got away with to Chris McDonough during one of his phone call interviews. So are they smart enough to mimic emotions that they think they're supposed to feel? In my opinion, yep. We need to give Candace and Dawn way more credit. I mean, they've been together for over 13 years. I'm sure that they both have their strengths and their weaknesses. And I'm sure that they help each other. I'm sure that they lied for each other. Maybe that's why Dawn was always the one talking and not Candace. I believe that Dawn knows Candace slips up. Well, more than he does. I believe that Dawn believes that he's a better bullshitter than Candace. And I bet Dawn is freaking out with worry and stress in jail right now about what Candace is saying about June 15th, Summer, and even about him. I wonder how he's going to feel when he finds out that he's been replaced in Candace's heart. Well, I'll let Candace explain that part. We're not there yet.
I can't even imagine as a mother. I can't. And
And that exactly. And I mean, that's what people don't take into account that.
I'm trying not to cry. I'm really trying not to cry over this.
I know. Well, you and her.
She was.
Go ahead.
She was the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me. And for people like Prayer Garden, freaking all them other dumbass YouTubers to say that I don't care about my daughter is so wrong.
I know. And that's what I was going to say. You know, I've seen you and Alli cry on the phone for a long time. That one night, I think before we came down over the billboard thing, y'all sat in there in the bathroom, y'all and both cried. And I said, you know, just because you're not showing your emotion on here all the time, and you've done good through most of this, you didn't get on the camera. You stayed behind, you know, you didn't get out here and talk or anything. And
this was a perfect example of what I'm saying about imitating emotions. In my opinion, Candace said a snippet about crying because people have called her out for not having any emotion anytime she talks about her missing daughter, Summer Wells. Again, using criticism in a constructive way to manipulate people, in my opinion. And I guess I'm just a dumbass YouTuber, according to Candace, because I don't believe she cares or has cared about finding her own child. When Summer was reported missing on June 15th, did we see Candace or Dawn out searching anywhere? Did we see either of them passing out Summer's missing flyers all over Hawkins County? Did we hear either of them beg for the safe return of their daughter? Candace says Summer is the most beautiful thing to ever happen to her, which I'm sure that her firstborn daughter really appreciates that, since Candace was a horrid mother to her and her brother before signing her rights away to them both, but I digress. Candace says Summer means so much to her, and those of us who disagree are dumbasses. I will be a proud dumbass. My response to Candace about this is, talk is cheap. Anyone can say anything that they want. I could say I'm a millionaire model. That sure doesn't make it true. The saying goes, actions speak louder than words. And anyone who defends Dawn and Candace saying, well, they couldn't do any of these things like plead for the safe return of Summer or pass out flyers or whatever, because all the haters, that's called enabling bad behavior. The quote-unquote haters didn't become quote-unquote haters, which I wouldn't even call us haters. I'd say we just disagree. But it's not true because we didn't know what to think about Dawn and Candace until they showed us who they are and how much they didn't try to find their missing child. And they're still not, which makes a lot of us believe that they know right where she is. And for Cam to say Candace did really good because we didn't see or hear her on public places, that really shocks me. So Candace gets credit for not being a proactive parent of a missing child? Really? I hope Cam is just fumbling over his words here. I hope he really doesn't feel this way.
I know you've got to go through her. Go ahead.
I can't always cry on camera.
Right. I mean, you're
not.
I know, Kent. It's like
I love my daughter to death. I guess it was on my heart.
Right. No, I mean, you can't cry. People don't cry on
Everybody
command.
wants me to cry, Cam, and I can't cry on command. It's just I just can't.
Deal.
You can always cry on command. You can't. People don't understand, Cam. They really don't understand.
I know, and look, and it makes me. I feel bad because it looks like I don't have any compassion. My mom, I know where you're coming from because, like I said, I run from stuff. I always have. Even with my problems in my past, that's why I always ran and tried to cover up my emotions. And a lot of people do that, and I understand exactly how it feels. You're not a doll, like a puppet that you're supposed to cry when people want you to and say this when you want. Yeah. I understand that, and I know you.
Don't get me wrong. I love my daughter with all my heart, and my boys. But I can't just cry when everybody wants me to cry.
I understand you. I mean, it's not. You didn't just right now. I have to say that you didn't just. You're not just. You didn't just not lose Summer. You don't have your boys now too, and that's the point.
I don't have Summer. I don't have my boys. I don't have Donnie.
Yeah.
I'm like all alone in this world.
I know. I understand. And
who on earth is asking Candace to cry on command? Really? We have never asked Candace to be fake. We have, however, commented on her actions and lack thereof. I hate to even say this, but if God forbid one of my children were missing, I would be a total mess. I would fear that my child was deceased, thrown out somewhere in a field like trash all alone, or I'd be freaking out thinking about the other side, like being trafficked, drugged, and abused. And who knows what else would be going through my mind. I sure as the hell wouldn't be on a freaking YouTube channel saying how I can't cry on command. I wouldn't need anyone to wonder why I wasn't showing any freaking emotion, because I know myself well enough to know I would be showing every emotion of grief, worry, and fear. But poor Candace. Anyway, I want you to watch the first 5 seconds of this next clip. Candace, who says that she can't cry on command, muscles up a way to look like she is crying. She pinches her eyes closed and tips her hat up so that people can see if a tear might fall. But notice she's not crying because she's sharing wonderful memories about Summer. If she can get a tear to fall, it's because she's talking about herself. Shocker, right?
But you got a lot of people that I'll tell you this, and I do know this. There's a lot of people over here on this platform, and I know many others that are on the few platforms that are. There's a lot of people here that have big hearts and that actually care. I talk to them, and people that are rooting for you and praying for you. And it's not about all the hate. People want to always pick out what they don't like about somebody else because they, that's not fair. We all we've all messed up. We all have shortcomings, and we've all have a past. If people, God forbid.
Candace may have missed her calling as an actress, And if I recall correctly, when Candace decided to call Mary, Dawn's stepsister, at 1 in the morning to lie to Mary, saying that Dawn had just been arrested, but then it changed to the mafia had him outside, beating him up, and then it changed again to the FBI in the back of a police car, being expedited to Boston, and all the other lies that she told Mary at 1 in the morning, the whole time she was crying on command. Just a thought to ponder, and an event that should never be forgotten.
No, sorry. I mean, Alli just walked back in, but God forbid. I mean, it's the same thing. If you look at it with my past too, same thing. If you look at it with my past too, if this would have happened, they would shred me apart.
Yeah.
I understand, and so that's
I
not
thank
the way
you guys. I really do. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
y'all.
We appreciate you and everybody here in
Thanks
this
for
channel.
letting me coming up. I mean, I can't comprehend everything that's going on because of what has happened. And I'm just so emotional, and I'm so sorry.
No, that's totally understandable.
I want to clarify for Cam. I want Cam to know I don't believe that people are judging Dawn or Candace because of their past. Cam said with some of the past that he has that people would shred him apart. It's their present combined with their past. I'm looking over the entire last 8 months of actions, lies, story changes, pranks, fake emotions, breaking the law, not just what happened in their past. We also can't forget Dawn admitted to inappropriately touching his stepsister when she was 5 years old because he claims, quote, she wanted it, end quote. She was 5. He was 12 when it started, and it lasted for 7 years. When Dawn was 19 and got incarcerated for breaking the law in other ways. Anyway, Candace said she's just so emotional, and she's so sorry at the end of that clip. Another example of imitating emotions by saying she's so emotional because she's trying to portray what she thinks we want to hear, in my opinion. I think it's long past all that, though. We've already seen 8 months of her I don't give a attitude. What do you think? Is this Candace finally catching on and using what we've all been saying for 8 months as constructive criticism? So she's faking these emotions to get sympathy now? I don't know. Tell me your thoughts in your comment, please.
And I've talked for you. We've said that you have been. We've known you've been keeping yourself busy.
Mm-hmm.
You're working on that house. You're trying to get stuff, and it's just you now. And you're doing. I mean, there's a few, but really, you're putting the effort in, and you're trying to get stuff done. And we see that. And I think a lot of people. We know, and it's a struggle every day. I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't want to get up.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed if I was in your position. I really wouldn't.
We struggle with slight depression. Don't want to get up.
Right.
Do what emotion gets you to the next day. I'm sorry, Candace. See, there's a lot of good people over here.
There is.
Thank you.
And thank you for Alabama prayer. That's awesome. And we've heard that there's not everybody deals with emotions the same. Let's see here. I'm going to pull up some more. I want you to see some of these. There's a lot of good people over here. Right here, Chandra Birch said, we love you, Candace. You have Fairy Dust says, nothing to be sorry for. Darlene Spencer says that, Candace. Let's see here. Okay, here's a good one Montana made. She said, my daughter passed away and I've cried a million tears. It hits when it hits and the tears flow. Love you, Candace. So, I see what she's saying. She says when it hits, she cries a ton, but then there's times that it doesn't. Right. I mean, tell me about it. Exactly.
I couldn't tell if Candace was nodding out or trying to pinch out more tears or strum up some emotion. I don't know. I can't exactly decide what she's doing in that clip. But when Cam reads positive, encouraging comments, Candace is too busy reading her phone. She's too busy checking her, I believe, text messages, and you'll see why soon. I'm going to start skipping forward to get to the next clips that I want.
So Candace, Pam Blankenship asked, she said, Candace, how can we help you?
I need some in the other room.
You cut out. I could.
I said I need some flooring done in the other room.
Okay.
Where Josie will be at.
Okay. Well, I've got. Well, I'll talk to you about that after. I've got something to send over.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Yeah, I've got something to send over to you, and so some flooring. How much? Do you know about how much you need for that room?
I need about. Oh shit! You're gonna ask me this question. I need about 6 boxes.
So it's floating floor, right? Snaps together. Okay.
Yeah, they're on one board, but they're connect boards.
Okay. Awesome. All right, let me see if I can get. Oh, looking. So people are in here. Oh, okay. I can't keep up with the chat. It's a lot, man. There's a lot of comments. By the time I read one, it's gone.
It is a lot.
It is. You got 1,043 people in here right now. I
got a lot on my freaking phone too, and I can't comprehend them all.
A kind person just asked how people can help Candace, and her mind goes straight to money. Not spread my missing daughter's name or information or flyers, etc. Nothing about Summer at all. Candace wants flooring. She wants money to get flooring. Didn't Dawn and Candace go file their taxes right before Dawn went to jail? I've seen Candace's Cash App shared more than I've ever shared my own Cash App since I created it. Candace has cigarettes. She has a huge bottle of whiskey that you'll see soon, but she needs money for flooring. I'd be begging for people to help find my missing child any and every way possible. But that's just who I am. Obviously not who Candace is. I do understand Candace wants to get the house finished. I just feel like that would be secondary to my missing child. And Candace wants us to believe that she has no idea where Summer is or if Summer is alive or not. Flooring is her priority right now.
Just Candace, I've always believed you from the very start. I've prayed every day for you, Summer, and your family. Thank you, second, folks. I hope your son's doing okay, too. He stays in our prayers. His name's right up there on the board. Candace, did you hear that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Candace doesn't give 2 shits about what people are saying in that chat. That was a perfect example. We're about to hear what Candace is so focused on instead of thanking people who have real life situations but find it in their heart to say prayers and kind words to Candace, and she can't even say thank you. Let's see why. What or who is more important? And heads up, it's not Summer.
See, I'm trying to get through all of them.
Is Benny around?
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard from him. I don't know if he's
I mean, either.
Has he been live today or anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
I hope of you.
Now, as soon as Candace asked this question, I got full body chills. Spirit completely came over me and showed me something that I have never seen before, and I never would have expected it. Let's watch a little bit more before I explain.
Sandpaper says, Candace, stay strong. Keep you healthy and safe for the future of your family. Be brave. Be that mother warrior. That's awesome. Thank you, Simba. That's an awesome.
I'm trying to be. Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I'm trying to be healthy, and I mean, I miss my boys. I miss summer. I miss all my kids.
Right.
I'm sure.
And I just wish they were here with me.
I can imagine, and I don't want.
And I know Donnie's mad at me.
Do what? What'd you say?
I know Donnie's mad at me.
Why? He's. I know that he's probably. I mean, he's probably just mad at the situation.
He's worried about me being safe here when my mom leaves and I'm here by myself.
Yeah.
And I tell him every day, I'm like, it's gonna be okay. I got this.
I would say that being in somebody that's been in the same situation with her and my kids and being locked up, when I say he's probably really mad at himself. I'd say that he's mad at himself, and it probably seems like he's probably that takes it out like he's mad at you, but he's probably really mad at himself. This Kristen Rose,
he's not mad at me, but like I tell him, I'm like, I'll be okay. I'm fine by myself.
Yeah.
I can do it by myself.
No, but I feel like he's probably. When's the last time that y'all been apart? Like really apart for a while?
When he went to Utah.
Yeah. So and he was gone how long that time?
9 months.
Oh man. So yes, he's gone a while. He went and worked. I didn't know it was that long.
Gosh, I didn't either.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I was okay by myself though.
Yeah, but I'm sure that this is different just because of everything going on.
I mean,
he just
don't get me wrong. I love him.
She's trying to stay healthy as she's sitting there chain smoking and moving the camera to suck that whiskey down. That's not being healthy. But healthy goes so much further than all that also. Then she moves on to Dawn. She said he's mad at her, but then says he's not mad at her. He's just worried about her being at the house alone. She's never alone, though. From what I hear, her good buddy, her media manager, Benny, has the app on his phone that is attached to the cameras inside her house. I'm not sure the brand or the type of cameras, but the majority of cameras have video and audio. So Benny can listen in on her anytime he wants, even during her private moments and private conversations. Let's just say Spirit showed me a lot. Spirit showed me more than I think I can share on here. Spirit showed me, well, let's just say blood money is very fitting. I'm going to leave it at that for now. Candace is manipulating a lot of people, but karma started in on Candace and Dawn right after Summer vanished. Spirit has been showing me that Dawn and Candace have put way too much trust into one person, because according to Spirit, that one person is manipulating them for the clout and that huge reward. Candace dropped the bomb that Dawn was gone in Utah for 9 months. We didn't really know how long he had been gone, but it was 9 months. But Candace is determined that she was okay by herself for those 9 months. If I recall correctly, she really wasn't by herself. Isn't that when Alli came and stayed with her and all the kids were there, except for Josie, who was with Dawn in Utah, and in that 9 months had a lot of shit happen. It ended with Dawn rage driving from Utah to Tennessee with Josie in the truck, and Dawn got pulled over but got a slap on the wrist, and back on the road he went. He had to rush home because Candace was trying to make him jealous with Jose, according to Dawn. And all that ended with Dawn being arrested and Candace filing an order of protection against Dawn because she said she was in fear for her life and the kids' lives and her mom's life. So Dawn being worried about being gone for 6 to 12 months this time, I'd say that is so justified. 1000%. Especially considering what Candace says next. Let's listen, and then I'll tell you more about what Spirit showed me.
Oh, wow, he went and worked. I didn't know it was that long.
Gosh, I didn't either.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but I was okay by myself, though.
Yeah, but I'm sure that this is different just because of everything going on.
I mean,
he just
don't get me wrong. I love him, but
Right.
I'm not in love with him anymore.
learns-
Don't get me wrong. I love him, but
Right.
I'm not in love with him anymore.
Whoa, Nellie. Candace announced to the whole world she's not in love with Dawn anymore. I wish I could say so much about what Spirit has shown me, but I don't want drama. Let's just say I know that Dawn has been replaced in Candace's heart, what little heart she actually has. She has over 13 years with Dawn, and one new, we'll call him a guy, comes in and shows her the tiniest bit of attention for the last 6 or 7 months, and then showed her even more attention since Dawn has been in jail, using words like beautiful and sweetheart and move over, butter. Watch her face light up like a middle school girl who has her first crush. I mean, Candace has horrid taste in men, in my opinion.
Don't get me wrong. I love him, but I'm not in love with him anymore.
Yeah. Man. So I'm sure this situation has took a toll on y'all's relationship and everything, hasn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has.
That's it.
I love him, but I'm not in love with him anymore.
Right.
And I'll do anything for him because he's the kid's dad. But I cannot keep going the way I'm going. If that makes sense.
But yeah, look. And if you feel like that you will be in a better position for the boys and for Summer and
for yourself.
For yourself, sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I mean, that's a hard thing.
Donnie's gonna hear this at the end of this, but it doesn't even matter. I love Donnie to death. He's my kid's dad. Hold on, Cam. Let me get this out.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Please let me get this out. I love Donnie to death. You know, I love him because he's the kid's dad. But as far as being in love with him anymore, I am done. He just doesn't understand how and what I feel.
Right.
Maybe that's because you haven't told him how you feel. You just said Donnie's gonna see this when he gets out. I mean, way to put Cam and Alli on the spot. Damn. They were speechless. They didn't know what to say. Candace just told the whole world that she is not in love with Don anymore. He's been in jail all of what? A month? And she said he's gonna see this when he gets out. So you're not gonna tell him until he sees this? What?
Yeah. Well,
I love him. I love him to death. No, Cam, this has nothing to do with you or Alli.
No, I didn't. No, I wasn't saying that. I was talking. I said I don't want to say anything. I don't want to get in between it. You go ahead. That's what I was saying.
No, you're not. You're not in between. You're not in between. But I'm letting you know how I feel about the whole script.
Right. That's what I was saying.
No, you're not. You're not in between. You're not in between. But I'm letting you know how I feel about the whole script.
Right.
The whole script. You're just letting all of us know how you feel about the whole script. What script, Candace? Would this by chance be the script that I've been saying that they've had, Dawn and Candace, have had since before Summer was reported missing on June 15th? Is that the whole script, Candace?
You're not in between. But I'm letting you know how I feel about the whole script.
Right.
I understand.
I'm married to him. He's my husband. I love him. But I'm not in love with him anymore. He has done what he has done. And I love him to death. I will always care for him. But as far as him and me keep going, there's going to be a slash jag, if you know what I mean.
What do you think Candace means by he's done what he's done? And what the hell is a slash jag? I don't know what she means. Does anybody listening know what she means that can help me out here? Because I am totally lost on this. I'm so baffled that she put Cam and Alli in this position to where she got on their live stream. She's doing live streams on her own channel right now. And she chooses to spill this can of beans with Cam and Alli. Why is that? And why right now? And what script? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what would you say? You go ahead. You're a woman. I'll let you talk with that.
Well, I mean, you guys have just
Wait. Spit it out. Spit it out, Alli. Spit it out.
You've been through so much, and I can't imagine the toll that it's took on y'all. And I mean, you have to do what's best for you and what you feel is best for your kids, and that's all you can do. So
I love Donnie, but he has to do what he has to do, and I can't do no more for him.
right.
He has to do what he has to do, and she can't do no more for him. Meaning what? What exactly? What exactly does that mean? Again, Spirit has shown me why she's doing all of this, and it is 1000% selfish reasons, in my opinion.
Does he know you feel like that?
No, he doesn't. Not yet.
There's Benny. He said gang activities over here.
Oh my God, dang Benny.
Gang activities over here.
My God, he didn't.
And there it is. The entire reason that Spirit has shown me why Candace just said she is not in love with Don anymore. There it is. Did you see her face light up like she's in middle school again, having her very first crush? The guy says, "The grass looks green today." And the girl says, "Hee hee hee, oh my gosh. No, you didn't say that." That's what just happened. And damn you, Candace, for making me feel bad for Don. He's sitting in jail, has no freaking idea that you're out here doing and saying any of this shit, making him look like a damn fool. Wow. It only gets worse from here. Let's keep watching.
Look, bro, I didn't even know anybody was coming up.
Yeah.
We were sitting here doing our thing.
Oh my God, he just said, Benny just said, "What's wrong?"
See? There was nothing funny about that. He said, "What's wrong?" That wasn't a joke.
Yeah, for real. Look, I'm glad, and I plead the fifth. I agree with you. She said, like Candace talked. She said she never got to talk about how she truly feels.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I mean, look, you can't hold that in.
Right.
If that's the way you feel, I mean, it might be a good time to let him know about that right now. And then you work on telling, you say, that you got this is your problem. You can work on doing something for you. I mean, Candace, for real, I'm gonna ask you, when's the last time you really did anything for you and your happiness and for your children and happiness? Probably been a long
I've never had no happiness, Kim.
I mean, that's just another kick at Don while he's down. She's never had any happiness. She's had 6 children that we know of, maybe 7, and she's never had any happiness. She got married twice, but she's never had any happiness. Her wedding day wasn't a happy day. The day that her 6, maybe 7 children were born weren't happy days. Those are the happiest days of my life. When I birthed my 2 children and when I got married. Wow.
Well, it's time for you to be happy then.
I can't. I understand. I felt that. Look, I felt like that for many years. I know how that feels. Look, and then who knows? Don can, when he gets out and he might go do his thing. You can do your thing, and I'm sure you'll always be friends. How long have y'all been together?
13 years.
13. Well, that's yeah. So, you know, that's how.
Okay.
That's how this.
I told me and said, "Go look at Cam." He said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Well, I'm just sitting here telling Cam and Alli what I really feel." He said, "Be careful."
I didn't watch this far into this stream, and I didn't realize how blatantly obvious that it is about this crush that I've been referring to. But my goodness, Spirit has shown me a whole lot about Dawn and Candace and what to expect from them, which is weird to me because usually I don't see future things happening. Usually I see things that Spirit shows me from the past. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a fortune teller. So this is a little bit different for me. As I was recording this live stream, I pulled down my notification bar to show the date of when I recorded this live stream because I want you guys to know this is what I'm seeing from here on. And I'm seeing a whole lot of negativity. If you watched my Dawn Goes to Jail video, I shared a lot of it in there. All their jail phone calls are being recorded. And as soon as I knew that Dawn was going to jail, my very first thought was recorded phone calls. I mean, it was like smacked me in the forehead, recorded phone calls. One of them is going to slip up. One of them is either going to rat the other one out or they're going to slip up. And before the end of this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I believe Spirit has been trying to show me.
Be careful. Well, he can come up here if he wants. I can give him the link. It don't matter. Tell him if he wants to. Look, I'm not going to ask you nothing that's like I said. You can talk. I don't even want to ask anything. That's y'all's place. And that's one thing like people don't get.
Candace isn't listening to what Cam is saying at all whatsoever. I believe from what Spirit has shown me that Candace is so wrapped up in this attention that she has never felt before.
I just told him, come up if you want. That's what Cam said.
Let's be honest here. Benny is a womanizer. He chooses his words wisely to get exactly what he wants from women. Candace is no different. Candace is so focused on her phone during this, it's crazy. I could have played just this clip right here alone, and it says everything. Candace is in her bubble, her Benny bubble, in Crush Land. And that is what will change her life that she currently knows.
Look, I know the haters and the trolls are going to be over here, so yeah, that's true too. I agree with a lot of these comments people are saying in here. I can't read them all; they're flying by, and I got it on slow mode. Anything else? I mean, if he's going to come up, he can.
I don't know if she sees her and Benny in a white picket fence or what, but what I see is like a video from the future playing in my head. Let's watch the rest of this clip, and then I'll go into all of that detail.
Yeah, we didn't. So this went this way. We appreciate you, Candace. If nobody has anything else, I mean, we can leave it right here, or we can do so. I mean, it's whatever. We're not on no set schedule. If you wanted to talk,
yeah, it's whatever, man. Because
I mean, I don't know what the hell. If you got anything else you want to say, you can. Or if I just want you to know this: there's people that are caring, and they have.
Hey!
Yo!
Tell him, send me the link. I'm in text.
Oh, send it to him in a text.
Candace just completely cut Cam off right there, proving my point that she was not listening to a word he was saying. He was trying to say that there are many people there in the chat that support her, and she was too focused on what Benny was saying to her in text messaging on her phone because she wants him to come up on panel so damn bad. Anyway, back to what I was getting at. Okay, here we go. Candace will be so caught up in her clouded bubble that we are witnessing right now that she will start fighting with Dawn during their recorded phone calls. Don will be so pissed when he finds out that she has been panel hopping, and even more pissed when he finds out that Candace started her own channel and she's been going live. He will scold her and tell her not to be on YouTube, and that will piss her off. Candace will try to downplay it by saying it's not a big deal. She's only talking to people that they trust, like Benny and Kim and Alli and blah, 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 blah. But Don will still be pissed, and he will tell her to stop. It's going to be a huge fight on a recorded line. Don will end up being so frustrated and pissed off. I see him talking to law enforcement. I also see Candace slipping up on a live stream. From what Spirit has shown me, if I'm reading it correctly, Don and Candace are going to flip on each other. They both will start blaming each other, allegedly, in my opinion, for Summer's disappearance. But Don knows how this works. Whoever talks first gets the deal. I see big things happening in the near future. Huge things.
I got it.
Oh, sorry, I took that.
Hold
Tell
on a
him,
second.
send me the link. I'm in debt.
All right, tell him. Hold on a second. Wow, look at this.
Oh, I know. I have the same thing going on.
I believe that was his text messaging blowing up, telling him to end this stream. And Alli said she has the same thing going on.
All right. Bear with me just a second. I know.
And I believe that was Alli saying, we need to end this now.
Yeah, so I guess that's let me throw this link in here. We'll talk for one more second, then we'll hop off here. Was there anything else? There was something else we were going to do. There was something else I wanted to talk about tonight. All right, I got it. Tell him I'm sending it right now.
See, Cam reading all of his text messages saying, yep, it needs to end. And then Candace flips the camera back, leans back, and flips the bottle up. She thought she wasn't being seen. She thought she was being sneaky. Not so much, Candace. Not so much.
All right, I got it. Tell him I'm sending it right now. I don't like when y'all get put me on the spot like this. I ain't not prepared. Tell him I
You
sent
be all
it.
right, Cam.
It's the killer looks at dang got real weird real quick. Yeah, I lost whatever to say. People were messaging.
Yeah, it definitely got weird really quick because Candace is drooling over Benny. I mean, let's be real.
I'm sure. I think people said they were wanting to help. If you guys, if anybody wants to
They've
help,
been putting their cash out.
yeah, people, y'all can do that way. We're not gonna. Yeah, there he is. Howdy, my friend.
What's up, gang?
What's up, dude?
What's up, gang?
Not much, man.
How you doing, Miss Alli?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. We was doing our thing up here. We saw in the chat, Candace wants. She's like, Candace wants a link. I was like, she ain't ever been over here before.
Candace?
Yeah. Hey, look, it's been good though.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Cam.
Yeah.
For real,
Candace.
Candace, it's been good. I mean, you got to get some things off your chest, and that's cool. Everybody's got to talk about their feelings and stuff. What's up?
Notice how when Benny comes up on panel, he says hello to Alli and is so respectful towards her and thanks her for having him on the panel and completely disregards Candace.
I did happen to catch up on the video you put out about the Walgreens. That was pretty good, dude.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that's actually this one.
Oh, yeah, the front of this one.
Yeah, that's right. This one. Dude,
Yeah.
she was in there. I was, and Candace, I appreciate you answering that stuff, and I think people needed to hear that from you. That Alli did get that. Hunter's mom did yell that at you when you were doing that. But we were talking.
You mean the
about
they got your kid thing?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
That's rough, man.
Yeah, that's no good.
People want to point fingers and be rude to everyone else, but look, that kind of behavior right there.
I can tell you firsthand, Candace is head over heels. Candace is in a whole different world. When I said that she was in the Benny bubble, like, that's an understatement.
Like that's a very vindictive soul and a dark energy that makes people, you know, just gravitate towards that sort of thing. Like that's just the most uncalled for thing, you know.
The whole situation was just pure vindictive. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, you know,
It's okay though.
It's like she had a
It's
bone
okay,
to dig with
though.
Candace, you know.
Yeah.
It's okay though, y'all.
I mean, it is what it is.
I can handle it.
I know you can. Hey, is that water going down any, Candy?
Hey, I was gonna show. Can I show that?
Candace is so hooked right now, and she doesn't even realize it.
Oh, okay.
Everybody else sees it, but she doesn't see it. Doesn't realize that everybody sees it. The girl that has the crush thinks she's playing it cool. Benny's not even talking to Candace. He's barely speaking to her on this panel. Even when Candace and Cam speak at the same time, Benny says, "What'd you say, man?" Not talking to Candace, talking to Cam. But Candace doesn't care. She has that goofy smile on her face. Look, I mean, she's laughing at every word Benny says.
But yeah, let me.
Well, that joker is flooded out.
Dude, it is rough. She sent me this video.
It's like whitewater rapids, bro. Damn.
So they're getting ready to show a video of Ben Hill Road, where the little creek has completely flooded because of all the water. So we're going to see that. But this is the part where I pull the notification bar down, and you can see I recorded this today, February 25th. This is when I'm being shown everything that I'm being shown. I wanted this documented, and I also did a card reading while I was doing the screen recording of this live stream. That's why I wasn't so focused on everything that was being said during this stream.
That's coming from Jody. Jody Sue's is on the right and the Wells is on the left, for those who don't know.
Yeah. Look, that's that little creek.
I'm going to have to make a separate video of my card reading because this video is already long enough. So we're going to try to wrap this up here. I have one more clip that I want to share with you guys from this live stream, and then we're going to end this video.
She's always been the brains behind stuff, and I'm glad she's the one. You know, I didn't have no interest in true crime before. I started watching it with her. I mean,
yeah, I mean, she definitely is a driving force. I know that.
Yeah.
And it's and you know, it's. I'll tell you what, man.
I mean,
what? Oh, it sounds so bad. I know she ain't got the service up there.
women are more right than men are.
That's it.
That's true. I've got that fiber optic, so sometimes it's really strong and then it'll drop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, I know that when you have more people come on with the cameras on, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead. What did you say, Candace? Well, sorry.
I said women have more fiber optic than opportunity than men do.
Yes, that's true.
That's true. Can't argue with you on that one.
I agree with you.
We love our men, but they're still stupidity.
Yeah, women have the ability to see the distance when we were able to see like 2 feet in front of us.
We can see the future that is in front of us. Like men can't see that, but us women can.
Right.
It's true.
It's very true.
Okay, so here it comes. I want you to pay attention to what Cam and Benny are saying and how they're talking about how women have a different insight to things than they do. And watch Candace's face when Benny refers to Penny. I think Candace was expecting Benny to say her name, not Penny's name.
Exactly.
You know, bro, I wouldn't be nothing if it weren't for Penny at True Crime Commentary. Like, she is my Alli. You know what I mean? Like, she really is. She's like, bro, you need to do this, or bro, don't do that, or don't do that again.
Hey, I'll give her a shout out.
Right.
Hey, she was on time with my live.
See what I mean? Candace's face went from drunken smile, laughing, joking, to straight face. And then she's yelling, right. What the hell was that all about? And then she did say hi to Mama Keys, which is Benny's mom's nickname, I guess. So that's what she was saying at the end of that part of that clip. So anyway.
Like Sizzle, she has control to pull the whole cord on something. She don't like something, she can yank the cord out.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
She's beautiful, Benny.
Thank
She is. And I'm going to start working on the video for my card reading because my cards never let me down. They never let me down. My cards, as I was listening to this stream, just in the background, my cards told a whole story that I can't wait to share with you guys. And I also want to say, you will be shocked when you see how many cards, but you will be even more shocked when you see what cards came out. So that's all for now. I'm ending this video right here. I'm not going to babble on any longer. I am going to ask you to make sure that you're subscribed, ring my bell, hit the thumbs up, and leave me a comment. What do you think about everything that I pointed out? All the things that Spirit showed me and told me, things that I reminded you about the past that I'm sure you probably already knew, but it's important that we remember these things. What do you think about all of this combined? I am looking forward to reading your comments. I cannot wait. And until next time, I love you bunches.